So, okay. Now we just need to get Angel back.
I love that you have the background. I just pointed my camera towards a not boring area of my house. So,
You know,
the same, except mine's boring.
Sadly, I must have set it up beforehand because I do not remember how I did it.
I was as much. Can you show me how? But I guess not.
I was as much surprised by that as when I clicked on start. So
nice.
Very nice.
Yeah, we're still trying to get Angel connected here. Like I said, when I pitched this idea out to everyone, is I don't really have a plan. I just, Ben to, kind of lead things along, and let's all just talk, have fun, maybe talk about home, maybe talk about narrating book mail, talk about some frogs and margaritas.
Oh, we got him.
For sure.
There we go.
Oh, nice shirt, man.
The Frog Master.
Nice.
Yes, I finally arrived. Had some technical difficulties, but I'm here.
No problem. And everyone can laugh at me for drinking out of a Bluey mug due to the fact that I forgot to bring a water bottle down.
It's okay. I've got eyeballs. So
eyeballs.
Mm-hmm. All I had was my son's water bottle from school today. So here we go. Hey, Willie. So we got our first comment in, so it is going out to people.
That was sweet.
Hello.
However, I definitely need to figure out how to get it so it's not blocking Angel's face.
Y no estoy hablando contigo, mami. Y no estoy hablando contigo.
Okay, so still trying to get the settings figured out here.
Angel, is that your mom?
Really?
Yeah, I'm just telling her that I'm not talking. Yeah, she didn't know I was talking to you guys.
Does she want to come on?
No, she's taking a shower, actually.
Because wasn't it her birthday like yesterday?
What was that?
Wasn't it her birthday yesterday?
Yes, it was her birthday. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Happy late birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday.
Yeah, you see the shower's right next to me. Yeah, I'm in the driveway, and the bathroom's right next to it. That's why she's able to hear us.
Okay. Very cool.
Hey Ben, what's up, man? How you doing?
Doing good.
I'll go bet soon.
Waiting for you to take a shot at me after that Subway series.
I would, but I got. But yeah, I was too busy with the book release.
There you go. How's your release day going?
Good, man. Good. Everything's going well, man. Just a little busy because tomorrow I got to go out early tomorrow, so not too much time to celebrate.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. How was book 4 compared to the rest of the series?
Book 4, it's definitely like a darker. It's like darker than book 3, but the ending is like it brings out the night. It was an emotional book once you get to the end. It's quite the emotional ride. It's a bittersweet feeling. It's a bittersweet feeling when you actually finish a series, especially when you had not a fun writing, but it had reached its end already, so I couldn't just keep fluffing it up.
Right. But you're not, are you really done with the series though? Because you're working on
it's a
tie-in, right?
It's a spin-off. It's going to be a spin-off. It's going to happen 6 years after the events of the original, but it's going to be new characters and a new storyline. So you could say you can read it separately from the actual OG series.
Nice.
There'll be some interconnection for those who are fans of the OG series, because I had another series planned, but because the series took off and it did so well, I had to double down on the Frogmaster motif.
It suits you. It suits you very well.
Mm-hmm. So what you working on, Ben?
I just finished the second draft of my next novel, so
nice.
It takes me a lot longer than it takes you, but I've got another one that hopefully will be coming out later this year. It's more sci-fi horror.
Oh, cool. Oh. Yeah, I was saying Ben should do a Grimace horror based on Grimace.
Yeah, the Mets are they're fertile ground for horror stories for sure.
Yeah, I was actually watching a thing on YouTube, a video about the 1992 Mets,
Yeah.
the worst team money can buy. That was fascinating. I was only 2 years old when that team was made, so it's Bobby Bonilla. You remember Bobby Bonilla, Ben?
Yeah, didn't they just finish paying him like this
No.
season? They're
Nope.
not done.
You got 6 more years.
Oh, really?
Oh, I was thinking of somebody the Reds just. I think the Reds just finished paying off one of their like legacy players that hasn't played in 20 years. So
No, you got 6 more years for Bonilla.
that's funny. Funny,
And
but
I-
not funny. Happy, yeah. Happy times.
Being a longtime Bears fan, I don't think we can have more pain than that.
Oh, ouch.
As a Packers person, I can agree with you. You do have pain as a Bears fan.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey,
Well, Jason.
We're taking you down this year.
Mhm. Oh, you're a baseball fan, Jason? And if you are, Cubs or White Sox?
I am not a baseball fan, but I'm a
Oh.
diehard Cubs fan.
Cubs. Okay, all right. So, Jason, how's your release day going, man?
Going great. So
Yeah, I was actually starting to read your book, Jason. I'm enjoying it so far. I'm about to close to the halfway mark. I'm enjoying the heck out of it. Really good stuff, man.
There it is.
Yep, there it
I haven't
is.
cracked it open yet, but it's sitting right on my desk. So
Yeah.
again, right to that mid-book twist, as I see the reviews call it.
Oh,
I like that.
I haven't reached that yet, so I know ways to go. All right, good to know.
Nice.
Yeah, by the way, I got the Kindle Unlimited edition, so that way I can give you some put some money in your pocket, Jason. So that's why I'm reading it on now.
It's funny. Right now, while it's on the first 2-week 99-cent sale, I make more money off people reading it on Kindle Unlimited than I do off of the books off of the purchases.
That's the idea. I mean, the idea of a 99-cent sale is to drive up the volume, so to grease the algorithms of Amazon, trying to get the algorithms on your side.
Yep.
That's the idea. At least that's the idea. Now, whether you can get it to actually do that, it's a whole nother story because the algorithms are mysterious and they constantly change every week or every month.
Yep.
That's a whole mystery to me. I just put out a book and hope people like it.
Yeah, basically.
Well,
And then I wait like 2 years and do it again.
yeah, I have to admit, this year has been weird with how many I have coming out, and just how that happened with Demon Seed and Book Mail was just odd.
Yeah, man.
You got another one like teed up though too, don't you? I feel like you had something else in the wings already.
Kinda. I have a serialized novella that I'm working on. I have the first 3 parts, the rough draft's done. The first part's already to the editor. And then the 4th part, I've been sitting on the last 1,000 words that I just need to finish it. But for the last week, with the release and everything, has been taking just all my attention.
Yeah.
So I feel like if I just got a chance to sit down for just a few minutes,
Right.
it would be done.
I hear you.
Mm-hmm. I wrestle back and forth if it's going to be 6 to 7 parts for that, because I see. Well, the funny thing is it's all kind of a prequel to a side character from Dead Friends, and so the 5th part is going to take place during the events of Dead Friends,
Okay.
from that character's perspective.
Right.
And then I kind of have an idea, and I wrestle back and forth of whether or not, well, actually the 6th part. I'm sorry, the 6th part. And then I keep going back and forth of whether or not I want to have kind of a 7th part that's kind of like an epilogue to the whole story.
Right.
And we'll see. After the 4th part, I'm going to take a break and write another project, because I feel like with how Book Mail is getting extremely popular, I feel like, and I have an idea for not so much a sequel, but like almost like American Horror Story, doing kind of like an anthology thing with, doing another in that vein of Book Mail.
Yeah.
which Samantha, you'll probably appreciate this, is the chapter 1 that I envisioned for it is set in my mind of where my
Right.
table was at Spooky Frog,
Ah,
with a fan just coming and attacking the author.
oh wow,
Oh,
that sounds fun actually.
yeah, that's gonna be
I have this whole scene in my head about her coming into the room there, how we had it,
yeah.
her seeing the author, and then just making a dash all the way through the room straight for him and putting her hands around his and jumping over the table to
Oh
put
wow.
her hands around his neck. And
Now, is that
chapter
because the
1.
environment was that threatening, or is it just totally unrelated?
No, it was just it kind of this whole there's this whole author being a creator of nightmares and making his fans actually have nightmares and stuff that drives them insane, so coming to get them.
I love that. Well, we'll try to make sure that you don't get attacked at the next one. We'll put some guards around you, something.
A bubble wrap.
Yes.
There we go. Well, my wife says I need that to begin with.
Damn. Oh boy.
I'd love to talk more about Spooky Frog actually, because I didn't get to go.
Oh, yeah.
I've heard such
Oh,
great
yeah.
things. Like how did
Well,
it go?
you're definitely welcome to come. So
Yeah,
we'd
for
love to
sure.
have
Yeah.
you. So
October 18th.
yeah, the next one's October 18th. So right in the middle of spooky season. Got a little bit bigger
Nice.
venue this time. I've got a hotel ballroom that's literally off the freeway. So it's real easy getting in, getting out, free parking. There's going to be free food. So I'm working with the hotel restaurant where they're actually going to provide some savory and some sweet little snacks for us for free until we eat them out. And then we've got 2 DJs this time. So not just the Goth Barge DJs, which are a DJ group that I'm a part of up here in Milwaukee. We put goths on boats and do themed events. And I've also got DJ Cynthia, who's got some national acclaim with her Twitch streams. So it's going to be a fun day. There's going to be enough tables for 39 authors vendors this time. So it should be really good. I'm really excited. There's a hotel block that's super cheap, which I was really amazed at. Free shuttle service from the airport for people flying in. So I'm really excited about it. And it's spooky season, and I get to do one in spooky season, which I've wanted to do for a while. So I'm like, this couldn't be more perfect.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I'm really excited. So just working on some final details before I actually launch the event. I've got the author vendor calls out there and lots of people applying already. So cross fingers.
Great. Where do you get more info about that? Do you have like a website or a page set up?
Yeah, so Spooky Frog on Facebook or Spooky Frog Events on Instagram is where you go for that. So I also cross post to the Goth Barge pages. So if you like to dance to goth music on boats, you can go to the Goth Barge page.
Oh, that's cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
When you say dance to goth music, I just picture the goth kids from South Park.
You know, okay, so kind of. It's a good blend of like old school goth and then a lot of the cool new stuff that's coming out. So we don't get too snooty about it. We actually have a lot of younger people that are coming out. So we have our little baby bats. And actually, a lot of them come to the book fair, which is great because it's nice to see that in such a digital age, we're getting young people that are interested in literature and not just any literature, but like subversive literature too, which I think especially nowadays is really essential.
Yeah, for
Absolutely.
sure. Yeah.
Yes, because horror is so subversive.
I treat it as a good kind of way to be subversive in a slightly more mainstream way, but I think it's a really healthy expression of all those emotions. So.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely agree. Where did the idea to do the event come from, and like the name Spooky Frog? Is there like a story there?
Yeah, so the idea behind it came because I was actually talking to Tiffany from Books of Horror, and there was an event that she was doing, and I said, "Oh, if you guys ever do one in Milwaukee, because this one was in Illinois, let me know." And she just said, "Hey, I don't have the bandwidth for that, but like you seem like you would want to do something like." I'll support you if you do. And I just said yes before I thought about it, because like if you think about things too long, then you just don't do them.
Right.
So I then was like, okay, well, I said I was going to do this. Now I actually have to follow through. And the name just came about because I have 8 pet frogs. So,
Oh, cool.
Nice.
so
You're definitely the
Oh,
right
what
person
breed
to
they
have
are?
Angels
Yeah.
on today.
yeah.
Rookie
Yeah,
frog, frog master.
Right. Yeah. So I've got 3 chubby frogs, which are an Asian painted bullfrog. I never see them. They are a burrowing frog, so they literally just live under dirt, and I feed them and
Oh,
never see them, and I'm their servants. I've got 2 White's tree frogs, which are an Australian tree frog.
nice.
One of those is my big dumb girl Georgette, who I can take her out and show you guys in a little while. I've got 1 Pac-Man frog, which are the ones that have like teeth, and so he eats like big pieces of fish and once in a while like a mouse. And then I've got 2 triangle tree frogs, which are in the glass frog family, so they're super little. But I was on a call for work today, and my littlest frog, his name is Ribbert, was just like singing the song of his people, and I'm on a call with a candidate, and I'm just like, I'm sorry if you hear this noise in the background. That is my pet frog.
Calling you from the jungle.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, that's
That's
also
awesome.
kind of why I've like always been fascinated by Angel's work, because I'm like, frogs, gotta love
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, right. Mm-hmm.
Which is funny because I'm currently in reading the first book of the Frog and Margarita series. I am currently at the part where they're at the water treatment plant, and they keep hearing the frogs all over the place.
Yeah.
I keep having her talking about hearing the frogs. I'm like,
Yep.
okay,
It's so
the
similar.
frogs are coming to eat you. The
They're
frogs
coming
are
to get
coming
you.
to eat you, Barbara. The frogs are coming to get you.
Mine are much
Just
less
don't
Yeah.
give them
threatening.
margaritas.
Yeah, we love the margaritas, though. That's exactly.
Angel,
Yeah,
do you have a pet frog at all?
What was that?
Do you have any pet frogs? Like, I feel like
I
you could
would.
probably just walk outside and grab one.
yeah.
Yeah, I can walk like and grab one, but my mother hates reptiles, so she gets a heart attack if I ever catch
Aw.
one for
Oh,
real.
and you know what?
She doesn't like reptiles. I'm the one who likes reptiles in the family. She not so much
Not so
her.
much.
Which is funny because
Nah.
as much as reading Frogs and Margaritas makes me want to go and visit Puerto Rico sometime, because it sounds like such an amazing place to go and visit.
Sorry, it is. It really is.
That the only thing that keeps me from saying ever agreeing to that is I hate reptiles.
How
You
are
hate
you
what?
frogs?
Reptiles. Oh, but
Oh.
so
We're gonna change that. We're gonna change that. Next time you're in town, you're gonna come meet my frogs.
Yeah.
you know, I don't mind frogs as much. Okay, it's when we get to other creatures.
There's
Iguanas?
in the book, so
Yeah.
Yeah, you might get like iguanas. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, but you might not want to read book 3 if you hate frogs. Book 3 is pretty bad.
yeah.
It's pretty, yeah. All I can say is zombie frogs.
There we go.
Yeah, that's gonna get Jason. That's gonna get him to the to like, yeah, the night of fears.
yeah. That's funny.
Love it.
Yeah, what I mean, I guess what I enjoy about the Frogs and Margarita series is that everywhere I write is based on a real location. Now I take liberties in them, but I've been to a lot of places up here: the mountains, the rainforest, the beaches, I mean, I take some liberties in them because it's a fictional story, but it's all based on real places here in
I
Puerto
think
Rico.
that
And
that might have actually been my favorite part, because I read the first book when it came out, and I need to get back to the rest of the series. But
Right.
it was very rich, like history and the culture of the island came through, and
of course,
I love that.
Yeah.
yeah, I absolutely enjoyed that. Yeah, it was a lot of fun putting in the history of Puerto Rico. Basically, I kind of made it into like a more of an action of it is horror, but it's more like an action adventure kind of thing. Yeah, because I was a big I used to play on the Legend of Zelda. I used to be a big player of that franchise, especially Ocarina of Time was my first one. Then with Joe's Mask and all that, and so yeah, I grew up with video games. I did read a lot of books when I was growing up, but I was a much bigger gamer. Now I've kind of made the transfer to just reading and not so much gaming.
Yeah. It worked really well for the story, that's for sure. It really kind of kept the pace going.
Which is good, yeah.
Yep. It kind of reminds me of your story, Ben. Home. It's based on the real funeral home, if I'm correct, right?
So I guess in theory, there's not like an actual like house, the location, but the fictional town is based on a real town, and like the issues that the town was having with like its economy and stuff were all based on a real place. Yeah.
Which I have to say, I love that opening to Home. That vibe you created there was just so perfect to start that off.
Oh, thank you. That was my heavy-handed homage to Needful Things, where the beginning chapter is the somebody that lives in the town talking directly to the reader as if you're visiting town and like telling you about the places and the people that you're going to meet and basically setting the stage. So I wanted to do something kind of similar and kind of set the vibes. And
I enjoyed it, man. I really loved it. Although the better one for me, in my opinion, Home was great, but Stuck was even better.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I'm terrified to read that.
Is that based on a real location?
I don't think I actually can read that one. I get way too claustrophobic.
Yeah, it's about
You both, Samantha. I read Home, but I've been worried to try to read Stuck.
Yeah, it's on my list. I know I need to do it, but the idea of not being able to get out of something just makes me crawl out of my skin, which is the whole point, right? Like you did your job if you're making me want to crawl out of my skin.
Yeah. It was.
I mean, hey, don't feel bad, Samantha. I mean, I've had people say that they read the first book of my forks and they can't read no more because they're scared of frogs. So that's a good problem to have.
In fact, I can't.
Yeah, I mean, I did it too well, though. I guess I did it too good.
Sorry. Go ahead. Oh, I can't remember if I used it or not, but I remember at one point I was debating of using Stuck as an homage in book mail, because all through book mail there are these little excerpts of the main character giving these book reviews, and I can't remember because there's a lot of tweaking on those about which ones I used, which ones I didn't. But at one time I did have that one of the authors, one of the book reviews that she did was two women falling into a pit and being together. And that was the concept for that book. And that was the book review. And not reading Stuck, that was, my perception of what that book was all going to be about. And that's in there.
I was going to say, if you would have put
I read that
fictional review in there, it probably should have been like a 1 or 2 star, because a lot of people are like, this book, I purposely misbuild that book. Like it's sold as one thing, but it's not that thing at all. Like it is not really.
That would have been perfect. Yeah, that would have been perfect.
A lot of people they get surprised because it's like, well, this is not, I thought this whole book was going to be about this, and it's really kind of not, but.
Ooh, all right. Well, that's going to have to bump it up my list then.
That's what I was just thinking.
Purposefully deceptive. Like the synopsis on the cover is like unreliable.
Ooh, okay. I like that. I'm more intrigued even now than. I love kind of being tricked. I love being fooled because it happens so infrequently, and I think that's why the horror genre does such a good job. Whereas a lot of times the psychological thriller genre falls a little bit short, because a lot of times you're expected to have a twist. You're expected to be fooled. But it becomes rather predictable if you know the model. Whereas you can still trick people with horror a little bit. You can be a little bit sneaky.
Totally agree.
Yeah, you're correct.
So Jason.
Jason, I was going to ask you. You write horror, so if you had to write in another genre, what would it be?
I feel like you beat Ben to that question. It looked like Ben was starting to ask.
Yeah, I mean, Ben, you could
But
jump
no,
on in too. I mean, you could
if I
jump
was
on
to
in.
write another genre, I would love to write sci-fi. I just
Oh,
don't feel like I am good
Okay,
enough to
cool.
write sci-fi. I am
I
not,
tried,
you
and
know,
it's hard.
uh, I have a sci-fi series that I kind of like. I tried to start a serialized series years ago, but instead of doing novellas, I was releasing it as chapters, and I released chapter one, I released chapter two, I wrote chapter three, and hated it, and that was the end of that.
I do that a lot.
does that happen a lot? Where do you guys, and I say this as a reader, not a writer, are there just piles of kind of scrap stories where you get to a certain point and you're like, this is going absolutely nowhere? Or do you save a lot of those ideas and use them later?
That was actually kind of a first time for me, and I still plan on going back to it. But it's funny that you ask that because I feel like I make fun of myself in book mail for doing something like that. Remember, if you've read book mail, that remember it's in the early part, so I don't feel like this is a spoiler. Where he's sitting on the ground, he's like playing, kind of like almost doing a multiple personality thing to her, playing with her.
Yes.
And then he gets up and says,
Yes.
F it, I'm not, no, this isn't working for me. I'm done. Nope, we're not going that way of the story. And that was purely because when I started writing it, that was originally where I was going to go with it. And I'm like, this isn't working for me. No, I don't like this. So I had my character say F it.
No.
I'm excited to try and like
God,
Yeah,
figure
woke
out
up.
how to make that work. So like, especially because it's kind of like a back and forth. I'm like,
Yeah.
I've been testing out some things like vocally.
Cool. That's very
Yeah.
cool. Angel, you have other series besides Rats and Frogs, but they're all horror, right? Or am I missing something? Have you written anything that's not?
Yeah. Actually, I do have another horror series. It's called The Fifth Survivor, and it's a zombie horror. It's a 10-book zombie horror, and it has 3 spin-offs after it too. It did really good in 2019, 2020. That was kind of my breakout. But but I was writing in a genre called Knit RPG, which is a literary role-playing game. It reads like a video game. But it did well. I had a lot of fun writing it. But then when the pandemic hit, I kind of had to pivot because people weren't reading dystopian zombie fiction no more. They were trying to read outside that genre because of the pandemic. So then I started to write historical fiction. Yes, I'm actually a really big history buff as well, especially ancient history. I put in a lot of history, PC games like Civilization, Age of Empires, all those classics. On the PC.
What are those? Is that a series?
So
the
I have
historical fiction?
Yes, I actually have 2. I actually got a Roman one that takes place during the Punic Wars in ancient Rome called The Great Centurion. It's a 3-book series. And as a 3-book, that's a completed series. Then I have one that takes place in with Greek mythology. It's a 5-book series. It's called that as a Greek mythology series. But I've completed those. I'm not the kind of guy that I mean, earlier in my career, I had unused stories, unfinished stories, but then I've kind of gotten into the habit of just finishing what's in front of me. I'm a one project at a time person. I can't do this, work on multiple projects at the same time. It just doesn't work for me.
I have to do multiple projects.
Now, granted, I suffer from PTSD, so that's a huge roadblock for me. So I have to do one book at a time because my mind is wired differently. So there you go. But that's how I get things done. That's why I get these books out. Like you say, Ben, rapidly. Rapid fire. Because But and then when I finished something, then I could work on something else. Because after Frogs and Margaritas 4, I did a story for that the Irrational Fears anthology that's coming out on June 30th.
Oh, okay.
The phobia based on phobias.
The one that,
and I wrote
the one that Joe Glenn's editing. Okay.
Yes. That one.
Very cool.
Yeah, I did one based on the fear of moths.
Oh, okay.
It's actually based on a real my fear. I'm actually afraid of insects. I can't stand insects or moths. I can't. That's actually a real my fear of mine.
I would think that's kind of an issue where you live. Like, I picture there being a lot of big bugs.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, but I mean, but we don't actually have too many big moths out here. So it's mostly butterflies, which I'm not as scared of. I'm just scared of moths. Oh, I just can't handle those big, hairy
Is it they're too fuzzy?
bastards. Fuzzy. Oh yeah, I can't handle
You
that.
would hate-
About
But the butterflies, no, butterflies are cool. Butterflies, I can, they're cute. They're cuddly. They want, yeah,
You would hate. I have a gallery wall in my living room over here that is just a gallery wall of taxidermied insects. So, and there's
that's
quite a
cool.
few moths. So I can take you guys over there. Actually,
Yeah.
yeah, I'll take you
Oh,
guys
yeah,
over there.
great.
We're gonna travel a little bit.
Are there any beetles in there?
Yeah, there's like one or two. So we're gonna just travel. Just ignore my messy house.
I wish
This
this
I can
was
see.
bigger on my phone screen. You're all like
Yeah.
super tiny,
A frog over
Facing my
here.
so
fears.
you're gonna get a close
But if I can turn this,
Yeah.
There.
Get a close up on my fears.
so that is some of my gallery wall here.
Oh,
A bunch
okay.
of them.
Did you like pin those in there yourself and like frame them and everything?
No, I had I bought these at different oddities shows,
Oh yeah.
but I used to actually have spiders and I did taxidermy a couple of them.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah,
Wow. Spiders.
got a couple of
Yay.
beetles there. Got a big stick guy there.
Oh, he's cool.
But
The
yeah,
wingspan.
but yeah, those are
Do you name them?
Yeah, that's cool.
You should give them all names.
You bugs. Yeah, Ben.
That's really cool. I'm gonna tilt my camera a little bit just for a second.
yeah, I can see Trip in the background, the AJ Humphreys.
Yeah. So we
Oh.
yeah. Before I do that though, here's these. I've got these caterpillar cocoons.
Oh yeah.
My wife worked
Oh,
at a
that's
preschool,
cool.
and so they did. They like ordered them for kids, and
Okay.
she told our son that she would get some too.
Yeah,
So
are
they
those
should
the
be
painted
hatching.
lady ones?
I think they're monarchs.
Oh, even better.
So
Oh,
hopefully
that's
they'll be
cool.
happening soon. And yeah, so I've got a copy of Trip
Monarch
here.
butterfly.
I met AJ for the first time at AuthorCon. And then we saw him at a
Oh,
convention up in Indiana last month and picked that up. I'm like, oh my gosh,
okay.
this is a big, thick book.
I know.
Which I love. I love big, giant, what is this, like 400 something pages? So I'm really excited to get into this one. I think it's like 450 maybe.
Yeah, I'm.
What? Yeah, that's his newest
Yeah.
one, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and that one takes place.
Yeah, I got to get into that one
It's-
too.
It sounds
You
so
know,
cool.
I've
So
been-
it takes place in Wisconsin, which is where I'm from, and in this
Oh,
Devil's
nice.
Lake area, which is maybe about 2 hours, hour and a half, 2 hours west of where I am. So that's the central part of the state. And it's such a beautiful area. Like I've gone hiking there. It's great for motorcycling. You can, rent kayaks and canoes and swim and everything. So, and it's very hilly. So there's lots of bluffs and just, it's a gorgeous, gorgeous scenic area. So I'm really excited to see like how that plays into the overall story too.
I don't believe I've ever been to
Nice.
Wisconsin, actually.
Well, you can come to the next Spooky Frog and then you'll be here.
That would make a lot of sense.
That was my shameless plug.
There you go.
Absolutely shameless.
No, that's exactly the thing to do.
Shameless, but perfectly placed.
Yeah.
Shameless, but perfectly done.
Yes. Perfectly.
Although I wouldn't recommend coming today because it is really nasty. I mean, I think Jason, you probably have similar weather to me right now, but it's been
Mhm.
45 degrees and rainy all day.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that does
Yeah,
sound
that's-
nasty.
Not super fun, but we should get better this weekend. So
Well, I'm sure in Puerto Rico that 45 degrees probably sounds like cold, but for here it's just a little chilled.
yeah, for us, we're like,
Yeah, over here, we'll freeze to death
Yeah,
out
how
here.
cold does it
Yeah,
have
but-
to be for either of you to actually put on a coat?
Oh, I'm constantly freezing. I've got like a big fuzzy blanket right now. My fireplace is on right now. So
Okay.
yeah. I
I
get
just
cold.
I picture people like walking outside in Wisconsin and it'd be like -5 and they're like, shorts.
Oh yeah, no,
How,
yeah. There's one guy in every town that goes to the gas station in shorts or the grocery store in shorts.
Yeah.
Jason can, tell you too that this is true.
Right.
There's always some guy in shorts. He's usually got sandals. If he doesn't have sandal, he's got his grass cutting shoes on. And then just like
Living his
how
best
That's
life.
fun.
all
The
your
fun
little
is
How I always say is until the first time it hits 0 degrees every winter, it feels cold. But after it hits 0, anytime after that,
you're fine.
anything above 0 is t-shirt weather. 32 degrees. Oh yeah, it's a nice
funny.
day out with shorts on.
Yeah. I don't think Jason owns a coat.
It's funny. Yeah, it's funny because when I used
No
to live in New
comment
York
on
City,
that.
I used to be the same way. I used to be the same way in New York when I lived in New York City. The cold didn't hurt me too much.
Yeah.
But now it would. Now it just it destroys me because I've gotten so used to the heat out here. I've become warm blooded.
Yeah, you probably don't own a coat either, but it kind of makes sense for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now imagine, Ben. Imagine you out here today. The heat index was close to 100.
Nope.
I'd walk outside and just be sweating.
I'd be fine. I'd be so happy.
That's why I'm in here with the air conditioner. I was sweating bullets outside. I wanted to be outside, but nope. I had to come inside, turn the AC.
It's
Screw
like
that.
poop out
I'm
there.
sweating.
That's jogging weather for me.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I ain't trying to show off my sweat.
Yeah, you have pit stains in your Frogmaster t-shirt.
No, sir.
That's awesome. So I guess Jason.
So Ben,
what?
So Ben, I was going to answer the same question. What genre would you want to write in, other than horror?
Yeah, so I don't know that I could pull off anything else if I tried, but so my second favorite genre to read is sci-fi. So I think that would be where I would go, but I think I'm with Jason. Like, I don't know that I have, the chops to pull off some of the like technical, like the hard science kind of stuff for sure. I tend to bury myself in the research anyway, because it's like I have like what's the task paralysis, where it's like I want to do it, but I just can't get started. So I'll just pick up another book and research it, and so.
Yeah, and then they go today.
Yeah. So the book that I'm working on has a lot to do with string theory, which is like theoretical physics kind of stuff. So I've been trying to read some of that, and it's heavy. Like it's really kind of difficult for me to understand, but it's fascinating at the same time. So I'm trying.
Can't be any worse than quantum physics.
I'm trying to do some crazy sci-fi stuff, and we'll see if I can pull it off. Lauren.
All right,
Lauren read the first chapter where it got into the crazy sci-fi weirdness, and she's like, "Yeah, you're gonna have to dumb this down or like clean this up because it's not translating."
So a 5-year-old can
I
understand.
reread that chapter like 5 times, and I'm like, I don't think I understand it. So like, I don't know how to do that.
Well, if you're ever looking for an ARC reader to kind of pitch, give some idea feedback on, I'd be glad to, because that sounds like it's right in my wheelhouse.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's so I've finished the second draft. I got the first part, which is maybe like 100 pages or so, with a developmental editor, just kind of looking over, making big picture notes, and I'm hoping to have it ready within maybe like a month or 2.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, nice. I probably would be able to send you. It might still be kind of rough at that point, but maybe a beta copy.
I would devour it up, I'm sure.
Well, I appreciate that. I'm excited about it. I just hope I can make it work.
I know Book Mail, when I was writing it, it was the scariest book I ever wrote in the way for me as an author. I had to less scary it, in my opinion, because I felt like where I was initially going with it frightened the hell out of me.
Nice.
Because, and even then, the first people who read the alphas wanted more in that direction because they wanted it more real, less demon, more realistic.
Okay.
But as
Right.
an
Speaking of which,
uh,
Yep.
there you go.
go. Here's my copy. I still got the sticker.
Oh.
I didn't take this. Yeah.
I don't think I had the stickers yet when I sent yours, Ben. Sorry.
No, I have actually.
Oh, okay.
Here, wait. I don't know if you
Okay.
can see that.
Oh,
Okay, yeah.
I've
The
got this
stickers
like
are
big
recent.
canister with all these stickers on it.
Yeah, but when I was writing book mail, I felt like going the more real route. As an indie author, if I felt like it kind of broke a connection with the people reading it because they have to have a certain trust when they, give me their address to send, copies of their books. And if I write something that is too real or something that could actually happen, it scared me as an
Right.
author.
Mm.
I didn't. I couldn't.
Wow.
I felt like bringing Max into it was a way of making it easier for me to write.
To kind
Because
of
I didn't.
distance yourself, you mean?
Yeah. Because otherwise people, here's this indie author, and because there's so much of myself in Jacob Skulls, the author character.
Yeah.
And I do that, and like I said, to me the book is a joke. I'm making fun of myself the whole book.
Yeah, I noticed that. I've been noticing that.
So to not have that other element, then, well, where's then the line? Who is going to, ever trust me again?
My God can read this. My favorite are horror books. The grosser the better. I'm most stuff like Room, Playground, and what's other some ones. Oh crap, I can't think of them now.
I was literally just reading that part during my lunch today just because I wanted to figure out how I was going to say those different titles that have been in my head that I've been talking about for so long, but in Lexi's character, right? So Lexi's character is just, she's fun. I really like her, and trying to figure out, really develop a good sense of how she thinks and what she likes, because Lexi's a fun girl. She's wild. She likes some good wild stuff.
Yeah,
but at the end of the day, she's got a good heart about it. And I feel like she's such a good representative of the audience. So I think plays
exactly.
very well.
That's what I was thinking.
That's cool. Was there a moment where the idea struck you for this book? Where did it kind of come from?
Yes, actually, it's funny, and it's actually in the book. Like I said, there's a lot of in that.
Telling on yourself.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
You're trying to protect your trust, and I'm just gonna
Well, when I was trying to promote Dead Friends, it was about a week away from coming out, and I had lost a relative, so I was going down for a funeral to Peoria, Illinois, where much of this takes place. And literally right before I was to leave to go down, the night before I was to leave to go down to Peoria, I got an order for a book in Pekin, which is 15 miles outside of Peoria. And I had the idea, I should just message them, see if I can, if they'd want me to drop off the book while I was coming down.
Oh my God. So it is true.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
And I'm like, thankfully I slept on it. And I woke up the next morning and I'm like, do you realize how creepy that would have been for you to reach out and say, hey,
I would have absolutely said yes. So
and so
that could go one of two very different ways if you really did that in life.
Yeah, I know, exactly.
Yeah. And so, but I'm driving down, and I didn't think too much about it on the way down, but on the way back, I couldn't get that out of my head, about what, and I kind of like the idea of doing something with book mail. I see the trending hashtag all the time, and book mail is the best mail. I was new to TikTok at the time and just still learning it and seeing that all over the place. And as I was driving back, I just kept thinking about that, and pretty much all my thoughts, about the worst of what could happen in that situation. By the time I got home, I had the first 3 chapters like in my head, ready to go.
I love that.
You know,
When that happens, you know the book's going to work. You know you're going to be able to finish it.
oh,
The story just builds itself before
Yeah,
you can even
well,
get it out.
and here, that's the funny thing is I just finished writing Demon Seed, which Demon Seed took me only 2 months. It was amazing how fast that went. And I had just finished editing. I was just getting that to go off to the editors. I wrote this really fast as well. This took me, I think, maybe 3-4 months. And I sent this out to alpha readers at the same time I was sending that out to beta readers to get ready for its release. And all my alpha readers were coming back with saying, where can I leave reviews for book mail? I got to leave a review for this. I love it. And I'm like, oh crap, I'm trying to promote Demon Seed and everyone's already reading book mail and telling me they want to leave reviews for it. I'm like, crap.
Yeah,
I got to
Yeah, that's a good problem to have.
Yeah. Well, and I think
is.
a lot of that
Yeah,
too is
good one.
because, you know, I think the audience sees themselves so much in characters like Lexi, where, you know, just like most of us would have said yes to picking up the book in a random parking lot. You know,
Yeah.
we would have absolutely gotten in the van,
Mhm.
like with candy written on the side of it. But I think when you have characters or you have a storyline where the audience can see themselves in it, and that's part of the tension, I think that really hooks people in kind of a different way than when they're kind of just an overview of the story. Not that there's anything wrong with that too, but I think you can sometimes instantly connect with a character that represents you.
Yeah.
Very well said.
Mm-hmm.
And
Correct.
I knew going into it, I
Yes.
wanted it to be a shorter book, you know, so I just wanted to be quick. And so trying to find ways of giving character backstories without really, you know, having that, you know, length to, you know, fill it out. Having coming up with those little snippets, which I felt like really livened up and gave us a feel for both Lexi and what the writer was doing in his past, because all of those little snippets were
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
showing you his exploits.
Yeah, and it drives the story forward really well too. I mean, things happen right away with book mail. So
yeah,
it's always good, and you just do the exposition and the character development along the way. That's excellent pacing.
yeah. Though people complained, well, 2 people have complained it drags in the middle, but if you had to slow it down. You know, you can't keep that pace.
Well, that's true. Yeah, you have to slow it. Yes.
You know,
Mhm.
you know, I have a little bit of a film background, so I always think of back when I was in film school and they talk about editing, about action scenes, 2 seconds a shot, go boom, boom, boom. You know, doing that to keep the pace. And I always think of the movie Stigmata because it came out while I was in film school, and my complaint with that movie was they did that nearly the whole way through. You can sit there and count. Every shot is 2 to 3 seconds long, and so to me, while I watched it halfway through, I was bored. And it's just, to me, I always think of, when I think of pacing, I think of that movie.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. Pacing is such a big thing in books.
Mhm.
Believe it or not, you know, it really is. You know, if you don't get the pacing right, if it's too fast, you're gonna tie up the reader. If it's too slow, you're gonna bore them to death. It's got to be a certain balance.
It's a tough act, a tough balancing act sometimes too.
Yeah.
it's kind of similar to music.
You know, and sometimes when I was writing my Farms and Margarita series, I was scared when I was talking about the Taino Indians, the background. I was a little worried that I was talking too much to info dumping. I was a little worried that I was a little too much, so I had to take certain parts out, try to banish things out, make sure there was an action scene right after, try to banish it out. Because what I know is nobody likes info dumping. Yeah, nobody likes being info dumped.
Well, it's like that tension and release, right? Kind of like in music too, where you can build that tension, but then you need to back off a little bit. So when you go to a concert, you don't have all the hits all in a row. You've got you come out with some big ones right up front, and then you slow it down, have a couple ballads, and then you ease into the big ones again, ease off a little bit.
Then the mid
cards. Exactly. Yeah.
And then the big finish, which book mail has a big finish.
Right.
Yeah, it comes to big finish and a climax. So they say.
So Jason, when you were in film school and like your experience with movies, are you familiar with Save the Cat? Does that ring a bell?
No.
So I guess I don't know much about it myself, but I guess it's basically a book that teaches the most important beats of like a movie script
Ooh.
for screenwriters.
Mm.
And I have a friend who is a screenwriter and has been adapting his screenplays into books. And so he turned me on to this idea of Save the Cat. And there's a book called Save the Cat Writes a Novel, which is basically like a book plotting resource. And I'm a huge plotter, so like I'm interested to see if that will help me like fine tune some of this stuff, because I think, Angel, to your point, like I catch myself a lot doing info dumping or like trying to explain stuff, or like I'll spend an entire 2 or 3 chapters like going really deep into a character's like backstory, and then I have to like cut all of it out and just, can I fit this in like a paragraph? So the idea of like these story beats, and if I can hit all the right story beats that you would for like a movie script, and that way keep the
I think a good I think a good trick, Ben and Jason, is try to fit the info. I mean the so-called info dumping. Try to fit it in for the dialogue. That's why I might try to fit in the info, the background information for the characters. Let them talk about it, for the dialogue. So so it blends in with the actual story. Like, so you're not info dumping with the narrator. Let the characters talk about it instead of the narrator. That's what I might try to do. Try to make it, come out of the character's
You can get
mouth.
a lot of character development from dialogue too. Like the people can really show who they are.
Yeah, exactly.
What they said.
Instead of info dumping with the narrator, you can try to blend it in, either disguise it as the characters talking about it. They know they have certain knowledge of certain things, and they can just explain it in one or 2 paragraphs, and that's it.
That's
there
how
you go.
It.
Yeah.
Well, I'll have to let you know, Jason. I guess I have the book, Save the Cat Writes a Novel. It's in my stack of like at my writer's like shelf. I have a shelf of like all these too, kind of like I wanna always improve my craft. So like that's my next one up. I'll let you know.
It's funny you bring up about your friend who is turning his scripts into books. That's actually kind of almost where I got started transitioning from film to books. Is a lot of it was through John Everson, my meeting him because I used to run the Chicago Horror Film Festival, and he was a guest there for a number of years.
John is great.
He is. Every time I see him, I always have to come and walk right up to him, talk to him for a little bit.
He's a sweetheart.
He is. So, and he kind of, just talking to him gave me the courage to kind of make the transition. And I had this script that I wrote called Invisible Spiders at the time. And it became my Hatched and my Caught in the Web, the first 2 books in my Invisible Spiders trilogy. So, then I've been working on that. And actually the 3rd book I plan to have out in 2027 finally, but only 12 years after the first one.
You're doing better than George R. Martin, so.
Yeah, exactly. Same thought at the same time.
I am so glad I waited until after COVID to write it, because I definitely will have a lot of things I learned from how people actually reacted to how I would have thought they would have reacted.
Got you. Hey guys, I'm gonna have to get out of here. I gotta put my father's in it, and I gotta get up early. We got an early appointment to go to my father's neurology appointment, so I'm gonna have to leave you guys. I'm sorry.
I told everyone an hour, so I think we're gonna have to wrap this up here in a few minutes.
Yeah, the hour's always.
Oh, okay. Well, but I gotta get going. But it was wonderful, Jason and Ben and Samantha. Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
And Ben, tell Lauren I said hi.
Dude. Yeah, always good to talk to you.
Oh man.
All right.
All right, buddy. All right, guys.
Bye.
Later, Angel.
Take it easy.
All right. Well, Jason, I don't want to like drag this out, but was there anything else that you wanted to talk about?
Like I said, I had no plan for this. I just thought, get together, have some fun, chat.
I thrive on no plan. I'm only a
Yep.
plotter when I write. In real life, it's all through the pants. So
Now, like I said, it is book mail is so much kind of me how I write because I had the first 3 chapters, didn't even my ending for that is nowhere near what I originally planned for it.
Really?
Well, no, because
Oh, that's
I
right,
had,
because you kind of shifted directions there.
yeah,
well, after, not to say there's any political in this in the actual book, nothing, anything political in it is subtext. But after the election, I had a certain amount of, I hate to coin the term femme rage, as I am obviously not a femme, but
You can
I
have
had a
rage for
certain,
us. It's okay.
there was a lot of yes. And that was channeled into 3.5 chapters and an epilogue of
I love it.
an ending. Yeah. I had to get some, I had to do some therapy.
that's a good way to do it.
Yeah.
You're not alone.
So,
Cool. So, I mean, the book's live today. You have signed copies, or did you say you were almost sold out of those already?
I have signed copies. Trying to think now. I have to drop the bookstore that I dropped some off at last week sold out today,
Oh,
which they were open Saturday, closed Sunday, Monday, and then she messaged me this morning and said that she was sold out this morning.
nice.
Yay.
Yeah, so I'm going to drop 5 more to her on Thursday. That should leave me with 5 more.
Okay.
I have a author event coming up June 7th, so hopefully I get my new order in time.
Mm,
It takes about 3 weeks, so it's going to be close.
yep.
I've actually started ordering some off of Amazon because they'll come faster from Amazon. I won't make any money off of them. I'll actually lose money on selling them. But I ordered some off of
It's
Amazon.
better to have them though than not be able to have them.
Did
Yeah.
you mean you ordered them like at retail or?
Yes,
Okay.
because
I've had to do
they come about a week and a half faster that way.
Yep. Yep. Well, I guess that's another good problem to have. Better to sell them now and keep the buzz going. Yes.
I look at it. I have a huge customer service background. I look at it as taking care of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, doing my
Nice.
best to make sure everyone gets what they want.
All right. I know it, but what's your website just for people watching?
JasonRDavis.com.
That's easy.
Took me 10 years of fighting to get it.
I'm in the middle of that fight myself, actually. My
Oh.
website is currently down because number one, I don't know what I'm doing, and number two, I haven't prioritized it enough. But I wanted to add like a web store, and LM Kaplan's been helping me a lot. But I still need to get some time.
Yeah, I use Etsy for my actual web store. So when you click on the store on my website, it takes you to Etsy.
Mm-hmm.
I like their reviews and all that other stuff that it brings in stuff from their own system. What I don't like is I lose about $1.50 per book off of a sale.
Interesting.
For all that.
Yeah,
but
it's good exposure. If you were in this for the money.
Well, when I compare it to like other outlets like WooCommerce, other big cartel, everything else, I think the little bit I lose per sale is nothing in comparison to what those sites charge to have a bookstore up. So I don't regret it. And it's so easy to use.
Yeah, that's good to hear. Yeah, I looked into a couple of those like Big Cartel and Shopify, and like the monthly cost just was too much for me because I know I'm not gonna sell them that fast. I don't do any marketing or anything like that. So
yeah, on Etsy, it's 20 cents to list it for 3 months.
Oh wow.
Yeah. You lose that, like I said, that little bit per, and once you get your seller rating up, which I guess I have gotten the highest seller rating now because everyone gives me 5-star reviews. Now I get paid within a day.
Oh, nice.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had looked at like Shopify and Big Cartel and things for the Goth Barge stuff because we have merch, we have t-shirts, stickers, pins, and now we have a hot sauce of all things. But yeah, it's called Dance Floor Inferno. We just
I
got
love
that. And most of those platforms were just, unless we were consistently doing national sales, it didn't make sense. So we just sell at events for the most place, just
Yeah.
do some Venmo and all that.
TikTok is actually where I make the most per sale
Really?
on the TikTok store. But I really hate their back end with how it is to keep track of everything. And they take forever to send you payments. It's like 8 days after it has delivered before. And
Oh, wow.
you don't want to do their shipping because they charge twice as much for shipping as it would be for if you paid for your own shipping.
That's a hurdle.
Yeah.
I've learned a lot in the last few months.
Yeah, for sure. I may have questions for you, actually.
I mean, that's why this is cool, though. The information sharing, like, obviously, again, I'm a reader, not an author, but I can even have some takeaways from this too. So I'm just enjoying the knowledge sharing.
Oh, of course. Hey, and Samantha, you say you're never on TikTok? You've been on TikTok for the first time for an hour now.
Yeah, I don't have the Tic Tacs. So I just tell people I'm too old to start using it now, but you know, I realize that at some point I will have to embrace it and just do that as well. So I do some social media stuff for work, and then with all the Spooky Frog stuff, it's just there was just one more platform, and I'm like, I can't do it. So, but thank you for fixing that for me, though.
No more excuse now. Yep.
I know. Now I just have to do it. So
yeah, foot's in the door.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And so Spooky Frogs in October.
Yeah.
Nice.
And yeah, there's a couple other little author-centric events. Like I've got a signing with Chris Hawkins next month on the 25th. So he's going to come up to a really cool little bookstore we have in Milwaukee called Boswell Books. So we're going to do a little Q&A and talk about his stuff. So I'm excited about that. And I want to see if I can do maybe a couple more of those in between now and October.
Sweet. I love him. I fanboyed really hard when I met him at It was embarrassing. I embarrassed myself. He was so cool, but I was
he's so gracious. Yeah.
He's an awesome dude.
Well, cool. If somebody films it, I'll send you some of the video or some pictures.
Yeah, I'd love to see that.
Yeah.
So Ben, you said your website's down, so they can't find you anywhere?
I mean, you can go. You get like one of those funky error messages, but you can find me on Facebook usually.
Trying to give you some self promo here. I'm trying, man.
Yeah, I can't get out of my own way to sell books, you know. So.
Well, I mean, it seems like home is just like slaying it, though. You know, that's my bad horror joke.
Yeah, it does. It gets a lot of recognition.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully the next one isn't too far behind because it's already been over a year since I've released anything. So
keep the momentum going.
For sure. Yeah.
Well, I don't see the hype around home going down anytime soon, especially with the brawl going on and everything. So
yeah, I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
Until the army shows up. Dude's got an actual army, so I'm not
I have his book right behind me. It's actually next to my TBR.
Nice.
All of my TBRs now are like dedicated for project work. So it's like I can't even read for pleasure anymore. So we're doing a podcast now focused on indie horror books. So all my TBRs are like set for that. So anything that's not dedicated to Jason right now is dedicated to that. So
that's awesome.
I get that. Yeah. So where can they find about Spooky Frog? What's that website address? Can I get your plug-in?
Oh, yeah, just Facebook and Instagram, Spooky Frog and Spooky Frog Events. So, yeah.
Okay.
Eventually I'll get a TikTok. We'll see. And when we launch the podcast, it'll be on there too. So.
Nice.
Yeah.
And we should also mention BreakingFateMagazine.com because I am doing indie author interviews for that.
Oh, that's right. That's going to be super cool.
Yep, next week.
Oh,
Yay.
nice. Yeah. I think I signed up for that. Yeah.
Are you glad you reminded him?
Mhm.
Right. I
Yeah.
need reminders.
Yeah, I got Angels out yesterday. I got Ben's all ready to go. So it's all typed up and everything and scheduled. So it's the first time I'm actually a week ahead.
Nice.
That's a good feeling.
Yeah, I know. The bad thing about being a week ahead is next week, then I'll forget to get the one for the week after, and I'll be behind.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
we
would-
got Nicole popping in. Hi, Nicole. Thank you.
Oh, somebody popped in?
Yeah.
Oh,
How
look
did you
at
do
that.
that? That's cool. Oh, so sweet. I'm
This is the
excited to check
bad
out that
thing.
interview, though.
This is the bad thing about this format is if I do that, it covers up one of us. That's why I put myself at the bottom.
I was gonna say, cover me up. I've got like this
Oh.
light on my forehead, so just look like I've got a shiny bald head here.
Oh, that's why I wear the hat.
That was my
Yeah,
mistake.
thanks,
Would be-
guys.
Would be blinding here. Yeah.
Yours
Yeah.
looks less shiny than mine here. Mine's just like
Nice.
we should have a shot where we're all just like very shiny together.
Look like shining. Yeah.
There you go. Okay, I do have to kind of cut this off here soon. I do have to get back to the family here soon. So
Yeah, same.
it's
This
been
was
great
fun.
talking to you guys. Yeah,
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
we
you
should
guys
do this
too.
more often just to have fun.
It's
Oh, I would
always
totally
fun.
do that. Yeah, yeah. I only got to meet Ben once, and it was because it was a Books and Brews, and it was for like 2.5 seconds, and so
was
I'm
a
really
hectic
excited.
day.
Yeah,
Well, hopefully we get to hang out soon.
absolutely. I'll be at
Fun
Books and
event,
Brews too. So
There you go. Perfect.
awesome.
Awesome.
Very cool to
Everyone,
talk to you.
have a great night, everyone.
Good night.
Bye, guys.
Oh.